Hey guys, Comic Boom here to review Action Comics issue 1002. Brian Bendis' story is picking up steam, guys. I'm actually enjoying Bendis' run. I know a lot of people out there, some of them are, somewhat surprisingly to me, they're not enjoying this as much as I am. I'm actually finding myself quite intrigued in regards to the story that Bendis is slowly developing here. This new red mist villain, or this red cloud villain is quite interesting. I mean, imagine a villain that you're in Metropolis, that the villains know, the mafia in Metropolis knows, the mafia, which is controlled by this red cloud person that has undefined yet powers that we're not quite sure what the powers are, but we know that the red cloud villain is powerful enough to do serious damage, and serious damage enough to give serious injury to the Guardian, who was beaten quite badly in this issue by the Red Cloud. And the fact that the bad guys, the mafia, they can't even say, they avoid saying words that Superman can hear. They avoid saying his name. They avoid even saying Lois Lane, because Superman is tuned to those certain, his super hearing is so intense, he can pick up certain phrases that criminals say. Because it's almost like Superman has like a built-in computer algorithms in his head where his brain automatically clicks into hearing certain phrases that only particular individuals might say who might be inclined to be involved in criminal activities. And it's almost like the mafia of Metropolis has picked up on this. And it's very interesting that Bendis is sort of building that. How does a mafia in Metropolis thrive when you have Superman? It's, you know, in Gotham City, for example, obviously the mafia in Gotham City with the Joker and Penguin and everything else, they're dealing with a human being. They're dealing with Batman, who's let's face it, he's not a Superman. He doesn't have those super senses. And so it's very interesting what Bendis is building up here. Clark here is doing his best to try to find out who the arsonist is in Metropolis, who's starting all these fires, because Superman's getting the blame, or at least they're trying to make it look like Superman is doing creating a lot of havoc in Metropolis. Number one, trying to set up Superman as being the person who's setting these fires. And also at the beginning of this issue, somebody is it looked as if Superman dropped somebody from the sky, and a number of witnesses claim to have seen Superman drop just a sort of a lowlife from the sky. And it wasn't Superman, but one of the reporters for the Planet, the new one, Miss Moore. She's trying to get Perry White to let her publish the story because she thinks there's enough facts. And of course Perry White knows that it's not true. It wasn't Superman, because Superman was fighting with the Justice League at the same across the country at the time. So he knows something's up. Clearly somebody continues to try to set up Superman. And then Clark finds out that Lois Lane is writing a book. He gets visited by Cat Grant, and Cat Grant spills the beans, and Clark doesn't even know that Lois is actually present writing a book, and she has asked Cat Grant to read some of it. So Clark now knows that Lois Lane is not in space. And of course, as Superman, by the end of the issue, it ends with him finding Lois Lane, who's actually in disguise as a blonde at a carnival, just obviously wanting to hide her presence even from her husband. So she's got a lot of explaining to do, because, you know, Clark's kind of a heartbroken guy. He misses Lois and he misses his son, and so Lois, what kind of a bitch would do that to her husband? You know, you gotta wonder. I mean, I'm sure she's got a good explanation. That's not true. She's got a shitty explanation, and it's not going to go over well, I don't think, but we'll have to wait and see. But so it's a great story so far. It's really good. Bendis is really building up the suspense here. I'm looking forward to where this takes us. I love the first page here. The first page, it shows Clark's computer with a bunch of sticky notes all over it. And a lot of what the sticky notes say are very interesting, because they give clues as to what's happening in other areas of the DC universe. Some of the sticky notes say, is KGB tied to election hacking? Miller and Romita. I think Miller and Romita is referring to the Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. Superman series that's coming out based on the Dark Knight 2 universe, Dark Knight universe. There's also a what is the Superman theory is written on one of the sticky notes, and that's a reference to Doomsday Clock. There's also John's school number. There's a note that says Jim Lee called. One that says LexCorp, main number for LexCorp. And there's also a sticky pad that says 2814. So what does the number 2814 mean? What does that reference? I'm not really sure. Is that an address? Is that a future? Is that a Legion of Superheroes someplace in the future? I'm not sure. Melody Moore's number. She's the fireman who's investigating the arson. All kind of interesting sticky notes here. Reminder: return Bruce's wedding gift because of the non-wedding that never took place. One that says investigate Jess Chen. I'm not sure who Jess Chen is. Profile: the new Queen of the Sea, Mera, Queen of Atlantis. That's referencing of Queen Mera. She became Queen of Atlantis in her series. So there's a lot of very interesting things here. And of course, there's a note from Jimmy regarding Hall of Justice photos. But a lot of good stuff, interesting stuff. It's worth checking out. The art here is really good. I got to give full props again to Patrick Gleason on art's fantastic. And the colors by Alejandro Sanchez on colors and Josh Reed on the letters. Really good stuff. The whole issue is I mean, the art's just really good. And the interaction between Perry White, Clark Kent, and Miss Good. Miss Good is the one she's clearly working probably for the Red Cloud, trying to get some dirt on Perry White, probably trying to get control of the paper somehow. Circulation's down. Perry White asks Clark Kent to double check the story by Miss Moore regarding Superman being responsible for, fires and dropping guys from the sky. So, anyways, this is quite interesting. Bendis is weaving a very good tale here, and it's worth checking out. I'm in this at this point for the long haul. I think this is going to be quite good, and it's building up to be a decent story. And this doesn't even, plus remember, we got Supergirl in space looking for Rogol Zaar. We don't know where he is. And in the pages of Superman, the Earth is in the Phantom Zone. And then here we got the investigative side of Clark Kent with Lois Lane. So this is really good. And we also know that in the months of, I believe in January, we're going to have Lois Lane is going to be having her own series at some point, and I believe in issue 1004 of Action, it's going to be an all Lois Lane issue or around there anyway. But guys, this is really good. Bendis is weaving a good tale here. Check it out. Tell me what you think. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40, Comic Boom on Twitter. And until next time, Comic Boom.